Welcome back to the lab, folks. So one of the things that we need as electronics hobbyists are things called loads. These happen to be variable DC loads, both of these things here. But these are kind of like thrown together little things I did for specific needs. And I do have a great big Siglent 300 watt DC load, but it's huge, it's big. I can't move it around from place to place. And I also want one in my little lab upstairs in my office. And neither of these are really suitable for that. Like I said, these were designed for specific purposes. This one was designed first. Now this one uses an LM358 and two MOSFETs. Basically the MOSFET circuits are pretty much identical and they're just parallel together. And that's how you increase the amount of current that you can dissipate with these things. This one here, because I couldn't find this, I threw this one together really quickly. And this has only got a single MOSFET because I didn't require as much current as this one is capable of. But I did throw this one together and it came in handy. But now, like I said, I want a more substantial one upstairs in my other lab. What I'm going to base it on, I'm going to base it on an LM358 or an LM324 in this case, which is the 4 op amp version of that. I'm going to have 4 MOSFETs. These ones here are only good for a maximum of 20 volts or so, the source drain. So I need something a little bit beefier than that. I'm going to use one that's up to 100 volts. And I just wanted a bit beefier altogether. And what I'm aiming at, I'm going to use this here. This is going to be my heatsink. And I'm going to put 2 fans on this to blow very efficiently to get this thing cooled down as well as possible. And that'll be covered up too. I'm also going to have a 3rd fan in the cabinet to exchange air and evacuate the hot air out of that cabinet. Now, how much I'll be able to actually put through this thing is up for grabs because I have no real specifications on this heatsink, nor do I really know the cubic feet per minute of the fans, nor do I really want to go through all that kind of thermal calculation. But life's just too short for that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to build the thing and I'm going to test it out to see what I can get out of it. Now, I'm hoping to be able to get about 100 watts out of it, and that depends a lot on how well this can cool the 4 MOSFETs. So with those MOSFETs, they're rated at 100 watts, but that's of course that if you can keep the junction at 25 degrees C, which is not really possible. But let's say this can get the case down to 100 degrees C, and the maximum temperature for the junction is 175 degrees C. And so if we do the calculation for them, that will each be dissipating about 25 watts. I think the junction to case ratio on is 1.3 degrees C per watt. 1.3 times 25 is about 30 some odd, maybe let's call it 40. So we would be then at a junction temperature of about 140 degrees C, which just leaves us a little bit of headroom. So that's what I'm aiming for. But I wouldn't be unhappy if I only got up to 75 watts. Anyway, let's go upstairs and have a look at the design. First I'll show you these, and then I'll show you how this is just really a bunch of these put together. But before that, let's get a little message from our sponsor, PCBWay. Just thought I'd show everyone my personal journey with PCBWay. If you've been watching my channel, you know that they are a sponsor of mine for some of the little projects I do. But long before that, long before I started doing these, I was using PCBWay. And I get them to build some platform-specific prototyping cards as well, for those times when I can't wait the couple of weeks it takes to get a board in from PCBWay and I have to get something out. I have these made up as well, so I can pop something together pretty quick. And they're designed to fit into some of the projects that I've come up with along the way. Some of them have been fairly simple, things like this. This is like a little Arduino thing, and this is a little power supply that fits into a breadboard. And some of them get a little bit more complex, like this system here, which is a computer, a stackable computer. So you can have the computer on the top, and then you can stack various boards underneath for various functions. And do even more complex things, like this hexadecimal terminal. Go on up to even more complex things like this computer here, which has got its own motherboard built into it, and can take some pretty amazing cards on it that quite expandable. And that here's a perfect example that you get 5 of these boards done up for $5, and I made a mistake on this one. So I got them to make up another one that doesn't have the mistake on it. And I'm going to do a project based on this coming up. Yeah, so I mean, like for $5, you know, if I have to, if I absolutely have to use one of these, I will. Most of the time I do have a couple of weeks to wait for the ports to come in. But that's it. That's my personal journey with PCBWay. They've been in my life for a long, long time, and they've helped me bring many, many, many projects to reality. Excellent people to do business with. Okay, here we are. This is the design of that very simple one. The resistor value was different, and I couldn't quite get 0.2 ohms, but the 0.7 or 0.8 ohms that I did end up getting by paralleling all those resistors was sufficient for my needs. But anyway, this is just it. So here we have an operation amplifier that we put an input in here as to guide the operational amplifier. And what it'll do is it'll drive this MOSFET such that the voltage across this resistor here equals the voltage that we put in it. In this particular case, if you've got a 0.2 ohm resistor, so then if we put 1 amp down through it, we're going to get 0.2 volts across it. So if you want to design this thing to be a 1 amp load, then you design this resistor ladder here, your controls, and this resistor here to give you at the maximum 0.2 volts at the positive input. So that would give you from 0 to 1 amp. So that's basically how that works. Now, as I showed you downstairs, there was another one that had 2 MOSFETs, and basically it's that last circuit repeated twice. So I have these 2 MOSFETs are in parallel with each other. They've both got their own sense resistors, and they've both got their own error amplifiers here, but they're feeding off the same value coming in from the reference up here. To make it what we want, we're going to go up to 4. We've taken that same concept. We got these 4 MOSFETs. They're all parallel together. Now we're aiming a little bit higher here, so we've got 0.02 ohm resistors here. We want to be able to get this to work down to fairly low voltages. That's why we use a much smaller value here for the resistance. Also, if we pass significant current through these resistors here, they're not going to heat up a heck of a lot. What I think I'm going to aim for is a 20 amp maximum on this. Now, one of the reasons for that is because I'm limited to the amount of power I can put through a trace on a PC board. And I don't want to get into, you know, having all sorts of external shunts and stuff like that. So that'll be plenty for my needs anyway. And let's see what additional things we've put onto this. Okay, so here I've got this microcontroller over here. And this microcontroller is going to sense the temperature through this thermistor. This has got a couple of outputs. One is to this 2N2222, which is going to operate the fans. So this is going to have a variable fan speed depending on the temperature. It'll kick in around about 35 or 40 degrees, and it'll get to a maximum up around 70, 75 degrees C. And one other function the microcontroller has, if you see this output here going to this little MOSFET here, is if the temperature exceeds some maximum yet to be determined, probably 100 degrees C or so, it's just going to turn this MOSFET on. So it'll basically shut the thing down. It's just a little thermal overload protection there. We've also added here 3 power supplies. Coming here from AC, we're going to have a little transformer supplying us with 12 volts, 12.6 volts AC. We'll come into this bridge rectifier, and this will be the main filter capacitor here. Then I have this 78, actually I should say 7812. So it'll be 7812 here, 7812 here, and a 78L05 here. This one will run the fans. This supply here is going to supply the operational amplifier, which is going to be an LM324. And what I've done with this one, I put a little extra filtering in because this might have some noise from the fan, may get back in towards the unregulated side, which this is hooked up to. And so I've got just a couple of capacitors here and a ferrite bead to try and take any high frequency noise that might come through. And like I say, this 12 volts will go to the operational amplifier. Then I'm taking that 12 volts with this 78L05. I'm dropping that down to 5 volts here to power the microcontroller. Okay, so yeah, these are my design goals. These are ideal. The 20 amps, I don't think I'll have a problem with. The 100 watts, we'll have to see if I can get the heatsink to work at that level there for us. And 75 volts, yeah, it should be no problem at all. These are 100 volt MOSFETs. It's a Texas Instruments CSD19534KCS. That's a bit of a mouthful. It's a 100 volt N-channel XFET power MOSFET. The threshold voltage is nice and low. So the maximum junction temperatures are 175 degrees C. Let's go down here and look at the thermal characteristics. So there we go. It's 1.3 degrees per watt from junction to case. If we can keep the case down below 100 degrees C, and we have 4 MOSFETs in there, if we're going to be passing 100 watts, that means each MOSFET is going to be responsible for approximately 25 watts. 25 times 1.3 equals another 32.5 degrees. So that would bring the junction temperature up to 132.5. But I think we're in the ballpark here. So if we can get the heatsink around 100 degrees C when the device is passing 100 watts, we're good. And that's what I'm aiming for here. So, okay, let's have a look at the layout. Here we are. This is the top side of the board here. Now, let me turn that off here for a second. So that big heatsink that I showed you downstairs, that's going to fit in here between these MOSFET. Also, you'll notice that there's a bunch of components here that are not on the top. So I've got these components on the top and these on the top because they're not going to be underneath the heatsink. But those that would potentially be underneath the heatsink are down below here. So the 3 little voltage regulators and some of the resistors giving the feedback to the operational amplifiers, and the operational amplifier itself are all back here. And that's the layout that we have. So I'm going to get that sent off to PCBWay for manufacture. And when this board comes in, we're going to build it up and do some initial tests on it and find out how far we can push this thing before we stick a label on it saying it is such and such a capable load. But like I'm saying, I'm aiming for 20 amps, 100 watts, and 75 volts. All right, folks, thanks a lot for coming out. That's all I got for you today. And thanks a lot to PCBWay for making this possible. And we'll see you in the next video. And certainly I hope to see you when these boards come in and we build up this DC load. Bye-bye, folks.